a work day and a perfect excuse to have my own dog, Basha, right here on the set. Dogs and other pets are actually also at risk in the summer, but there are some very simple steps you can take to protect them. Here with some tips is Senior Veterinarian Officer at the American Animal Hospital Association, Dr. Heather Lenzer, and her dog, Calvin. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Good to see you. Hi, Calvin. All right, so we do have to think about our animals because the high heat and other hazards can endanger them.
Absolutely. That's why I actually have this cooling vest on Calvin. These are really good tools. What you do is you get them wet, put them on the dog, and as they dry, it evaporates their body heat away.
Really?
Yeah, because dogs don't sweat, right? The way that they cool off.
Calvin does not look happy.
Yes.
He's like, what have you done to me,
You know
Mom?
what? It's the boots. And the boots are on him because I do want to point out that dogs do need their feet protected on hot pavement.
Can I tell you, that happened to Basha. She was running on a hot tennis court.
Yep.
And she burned her paws, and we had to get them wrapped. She looked adorable.
She would have looked really cute in little tennis shoes.
She was unhappy. We learned that the hard way.
Yes. So, so the heat is a big deal, not only with large breed dogs that have long noses, because what happens with them is their airways actually weaken over time. And a lot of people don't know that. Oh. A lot of people do know that our squishy-faced dogs, like Basha, and French Bulldogs and Boston Terriers, they have a lot of difficulty breathing, just in general, right? Does she snore?
Oh my God, so loudly.
Exactly. So so she's actually at risk for heat stroke too. So if you think your dog might be having heat stroke, I want to tell you one thing. If you only remember one thing I say, it's this: you think they're overheating, you need to cool them off slowly, not fast. So don't pick them up and throw them in the lake or put the cold water on them from the hose. Because if you do that, they're going to cool off too quickly, and they could have fatal consequences.
So what is that? How do you cool them off slowly?
You actually, again, mimic sweat, because again, they don't. And I like to take a towel with warm water and put it over the parts of the
Calvin,
body.
he's like, this is going from bad to worse.
I got to wear. And you put it on the parts of the body that have the least amount of hair. So in between the legs, on the ears, and you put them in the car. Put the windows down or the AC on, and you drive to the vet. Don't mess around. Heat stroke's a big deal.
Okay, all right. And what are the signs like that?
A lot of excessive panting. Like, you know when they'll pant with their tongue on the side, like that?
Yeah.
And getting really lethargic and glassy-eyed. So if you see that, just get them a little bit warm and wet and get them to the vet.
Now, what about Lucas over here?
Oh my gosh. So Lucas is going to demonstrate why it's so important to be
Basha temporarily.
well hydrated. So nothing will keep an animal safer than having a nice fresh bowl of water out there. But we did find a little ice lick, DIY thing you can do at home. We used a bunt pan.
Oh, it's a block of ice.
Yeah. Take a bunt pan, put water in it, and then, or you can put low sodium chicken broth, put treats in it, and they can lick it.
That's a great idea.
Calvin loved it. Lucas, not so much.
Lucas is like, what is going on here?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
So
now this is Hudson.
This is Hudson, and Hudson is demonstrating.
Is there a life jacket on that dog?
There is, because drowning's actually a big deal.
Okay.
Just because we call it the doggy paddle doesn't mean dogs all know how to swim.
Really?
So dogs with big heads and short feet and muscular bodies actually really can't swim at all. They can barely float.
Wow.
So that's why life jacket's so important. So whenever they're around water, which, technically we are, so that's why we have the life jacket.
He wasn't going to drown in this.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
But you do want to find a life jacket that fits well. So you measure around the chest and the abdomen, and you don't want to have any more than 2 fingers between the life jacket.
He's so cute.
The life jacket and the dog. And I do like that this has handles on it, so in an emergency you can hoist her back up.
Have you ever put a life jacket on your dog?
No.
I've never even thought about it. Basha can swim, but yeah, that's good to know.
But on a boat, even though she can swim, still put a life jacket on her.
Oh,
and there's tons of them out there.
And plus, you just get tons of enjoyment out of seeing that, don't you? Like, how cute is that?
It's like the boots, life jackets and boots.
Last but not least is my little Basha, she's 14 years old now, my girl. And she has a tendency,
Do you have a confession?
She doesn't get lost per se, but we have lost Basha a couple of times. One infamous time that I talked about on the air where we inadvertently left her behind at a stranger's home. It's a long story. You can find it at today.com/MeganToday.
Yes.
But in the future, if I need to find her.
I think you really need to have some kind of pet tracker. So there's a whole bunch out there. The one we have on her actually works really well with your iPhone. You can download the app, and it alerts you when she goes outside the virtual leash. So when you're looking for GPSs, you want to look for long battery life, whether or not it's waterproof, and how long the range is. Hunting dogs, they need hundreds a lot.
If let's say you just lose her, you don't have like your
Yeah.
area,
Yep.
and like, could you just find her on there, like find my iPhone? Like
It
you could
de-
say, where is Basha? And it'll tell me?
I know, right? It depends on how far away she is. So that's the rate limiting step on a lot of these GPSs.
Okay. So the pet tracker, the life jacket, the ice block, and watch your pet for overheating, because that is a real issue.
Yes.
Dr. Lenzer, great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. For all the tips, you can get more at today.com/Megan Today.